Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. How are you doing? Personally, I'm doing good. Thank you once more for subscribing to this YouTube channel. Thank you for the 60 something subscribers. Road to 1000 subscribers. Yes, it's very possible. Just click the subscribe button and you will have subscribed. Thank you. Kindly subscribe. Don't continue watching before you subscribe. Thank you. So welcome to today's lesson. As you can see, we'll be discussing Kjsea sample paper. You will watch this video immediately after you are sitting rehearsal. The time you are watching the video, you'll have done your sitting rehearsal. So it's the best time for you to do the final touches on this mathematics paper. So let's start with number 1. And as you can see, the format of the Kjsea is such that we have section A, whereby it's a multiple choice questions. You have a question you're supposed to do, and then you'll have to answer. The question says A, B, C, or D. As you can see, yeah, that is the format of Kjsea mathematics paper. We have 20 marks for section A, and then section B, where it's a structured section called structured questions, whereby you have to show you are working and so on. So for these, let us start with section A. And as you can see, the question is: Sarah recorded the following numbers in a field book. The numbers are 1/2, 5.5, -8, and 0.6. Which of the numbers is an integer? What is an integer? So integers are negative and positive whole numbers. Or rather, you can say whole numbers depending on your English teacher, but the best way is whole numbers. So any whole number that is negative or positive, rather the numbers we present on number line in this level, that is -1, +1, -2, +2, all those numbers which are whole. By whole I mean it's not a fraction, not a decimal. All those numbers are integers. So from our list, the first number is a fraction, so it cannot be an integer. The second one again is also a fraction, which is a mixed fraction, so again that is not an integer. You can see we have -8, a negative whole number, so -8 is an integer. And then lastly we have 0.6, which is a decimal, and then decimals are not integers. So the answer is you can see A is not correct, it's a fraction, B not correct, C not correct, so the answer is D. The next question is 3 buckets have capacities of 16 liters, 12 liters, and 20 liters. The buckets were filled with water using a container. What is the capacity of the largest container that was used to fill each of the buckets in an exact number of times? So the keyword here is largest container. So now what means is that means that between these capacity 16 liters, 12 liters, and 20 liters, we need to look at those three numbers and get the greatest common divisor, and that will be the largest container in terms of capacity. So largest means we are going to find the GCD, the greatest common divisor between 16, 12, and 20. Yeah, so we have 2 being common in 16 because of 8. We have 6 and then 10. Again, 2 is also common because 2 divided by 8 is 4. We have 3. We have 5. So when you look at those 3 numbers now, that is 4, 3, and 5, there is no common divisor. So we'll have it's 2 times 2, which is 4. And as you can see from our answers, the answer is A. Choice A. Good. A farmer harvested this is 2,486,712 pieces of pineapples. What is the number rounded off to the nearest 100,000? So we need to know the place value of each digit in the number. This is supposed to be ones. We have tens, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Sorry, we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So we want the part of 100,000. So our digit 4 is in the place value of the place value of digit 4 is 100 of thousands or 100,000. So we look at the number before, or the number which is in front of our digit in this matter, whose place value is 100,000. So the number which is in front, look at this number, we check whether it can change 4. And when does it change? If the number is 5 or more than 5, then we can add 1. So the number is 8. So we are going to add 1 to this number, and then we make all these others zeros. So we'll have 5 here. And then how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 5 zeros. So, and then 2 remains. So as you can see from our answers, the answer should be part D. Okay. So as we continue, let's continue. We have the next question. We have another question here. Next, Peter worked out a question on indices and got the answer is p power 2. Which of the following is equivalent to p power 2? So this is from indices, grade 9 indices. So what you're supposed to know here is the laws of indices, and if you look at my short videos, I have summarized. I have a good summary of all the laws of indices. So just a reminder, you have a multiplication of indices. So we are going to one thing with these multiple choices, you just work with the answers at some point, because as per this question, we are supposed to choose the answer which gives the answer, or gives p power 2. So we have p power 4 times p power 2. So in multiplication of indices, when indices have same base, and then in between them we have multiplication, and then what we do is we add the powers. So this will be p power 4 plus 2, and this is giving us p power 6. So we eliminate choice A. Choice A cannot be the answer, because we are looking for p power 2. We go to choice B, and as you can see, choice B is a division of integers, and in division of integers we subtract the powers. So we'll have p power 4 minus 2, and this is p power 2. As you can see, we have arrived to what we are looking for. So we can comfortably say that B is correct. But before we conclude, we can also look at what C is giving us. That is, this is in indices we call this powers of powers. So we'll have in powers of powers we multiply the powers. So we'll have p power 4 times 2, and that is giving us p power 8. So that is not what we are looking for. And then lastly, we have a subtraction of indices, whereby we don't have subtraction of indices. So this can't just be the answer. This cannot just be the answer. So one secret with multiple choices, you can do eliminations of some answers. You find that some questions you can just eliminate some answers, and they can't just be the answers. I don't know whether you're getting me. You can eliminate, even if by the end of the day you are not sure of the final answer. At some point, you can, from how the question looks like, you can just tell that this, even before doing, you can just tell that this cannot be the answer. Yeah, so let us go to the next question. The equation of a line was given as 4x minus 3y minus 7 is equal to 0. What is the gradient of the line? So for us to know gradient of a line from any equation, the equation must first of all be in the form of a general equation of a straight line. How does the general equation of a straight line look like? Y is equal to mx plus c. So we are supposed to write this equation in this form. This is very simple. So what you do is we have, I'm just repeating the equation, minus 3y minus 7 is equal to 0. So our target is to remain with y is equal to, in that order. So we'll have to take 4x to the other side to remain with the y and its coefficient. So we'll have negative 3y is equal to, we also take 7 to the other side. So taking 4x to the other side, sorry, initially before 4x was positive, so crossing the equal sign, many students mess up at that point of, I don't know why, they mess up at that point of crossing the numbers, or rather taking the numbers to the other side of the equal sign. They forget, like they fully forget about the sign. So that is negative 4x. Pay attention on that sign. And then this was negative 7. So crossing the equal sign, the negative changes to positive 7. Yes. Good. So if you can see, it's almost there. You can see some resemblance. So it's almost there. So let us now do away with the coefficient of y so that we can remain with y alone. So we'll have to divide all through by the coefficient of y, which is negative 3, not 3, negative 3, as you can see, and then negative 3, negative 3. So in grade 9 we learn about integers, division of integers, division of negative integers, division of positive integers with negative integers, and you learn that when a negative integer is divided by a negative integer, the result should be a positive integer. Rather, you can even see that this is negative 3 divided by a negative 3 should give us positive 1. So we don't write 1y, we just write y is equal to negative integer divided by negative integer, positive integer. So we'll have 4 over 3 x plus, or before the sign, let us look at this. We have positive 7 divided by negative 3. So a positive integer divided by a negative integer gives us a negative answer. So this is going to be negative 7 over 3. And as you can see, we can compare our answer with the general equation of a straight line y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, we can also elaborate on the meaning of these variables in the equation. So we have y, we have m. M means the gradient. So we have y to y, m to that, x to x, and then plus c. C is a constant. C is a constant. So in our case, our constant is negative 7 over 3. So our question was on gradient. What is the gradient of the line? So as I have said, m is the gradient, and m coincides with 4 over 3. So what's the answer? Yes, you are correct. C. The answer is C. Joel requires at least 20 minutes to walk from home to school. Let X represent the time taken by Joel to walk from home to school. Which of the following inequalities represents the time taken by Joel? Look at that. Yeah, so the question is fully depending on the answers. But before we even look at the answers, let us go back to the question. The keyword in this question is at least. So this is from linear inequalities. And in linear inequalities, we talk of words like at least. We talk of words like more, less, at most. So when we talk of at least, it means that the least minutes that Joel can take to work from home to school is 20 minutes. So meaning that Joel can take 20 minutes or more. 20 minutes or more. So the time taken by Joel is X. So we can also have a summary here of those words I've talked about. At least, at most. We also have more than, less than, or more and less. So at least I've talked of, it means that you can take those minutes or more. So it means that at least is more than or even equal, because that 20 is included. At most, it means that you can take that number mentioned is included, but it is the most, it is the greatest. So we expect to get less, or we expect the others to be less than that number. So it is less and the number is included. Then we have more than, that is obvious, and then less than. So in our case, time, we are supposed to let X represent the time taken by Joel to walk from home to school. So X is supposed to be greater than or equal to 20. So which is the answer? As you can see, greater than, and then we'll be very keen not to be confused by the signs. Good. Let us move to the next question. Fatiano and Kjsea bought pens, exercise books, and pencils at the beginning of the term. The number of pens, exercise books, and pencils bought by each was represented by the matrix below. So that's a scenario of where this matrix is taken from. Yes, so our main focus here is the matrix. So you have the matrix. Yeah. A matrix has elements. So inside the matrix are elements. And we also talk of positions of the element. But in our question here is, what was the order of the matrix? So how do we get order of a matrix? This is covered in grade 9. One best thing with my videos, or rather covering JSS most, is because this content is just overlapping. You find that in senior school, we are talking about matrices there, order of matrices. The same content is here, grade 9. So this video will help you, will help each learner, whether in JSS or SSS. Yeah, so Order of matrices is given by order of a matrix is given by multiplying the number of rows, or rather we start by rows by columns, the number of columns. So again, most students also have a challenge of differentiating between columns and rows. Don't be confused. Rows run horizontally. Horizontally, I mean horizontal. Rows, horizontal. Then columns run vertically. So we have these as our rows, and then we have these as our columns. So how many rows do we have? We have 1, 2. So we have 2 by how many columns do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. So 3. So this is a matrix of order 2 by 3. That's how we name them. 2 by 3. So we have 2 by 3, 3 by 2, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. So the answer is 2 by 3, which is A. We have another question here. Winnie placed a tube against a wall as shown. Let's look at the diagram. So the question is, the question continues and says, the top of the tube was 2.7 meters from the bottom of the wall. You can see 2.7. The foot of the tube was 3.6 meters from the wall. Which of the following calculations will give the length of the tube? You can see length of the tube. So even before we go to the answers, what has come into your mind? That scenario is forming a right-angled triangle. And then the length of the tube represent what? The hypotenuse. The hypotenuse of the triangle, the right-angle triangle. So how do we get hypotenuse, the hypotenuse of a right-angle triangle? So we apply the Pythagorean relationship. We call it the Pythagorean relationship. You can also call it the Pythagorean theorem. So we want to a representation showing the length of that pipe. Also, before we go so much deep, let us just look at the answers, because also determinant of how much far we should go. So it's not exactly looking at the exact answer, just wants to see the answers, just want to see whether we can choose keenly the representation. So we have in our back to our triangle here, at our presentation here, we have we can call this our part A, our part B, and our part C. So if we are to use the theorem directly, we'll have a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. So our issue here is to get c, the hypotenuse. So we have a as 27, or rather 2.7 squared, plus b, which is 3.6 squared, is equal to c squared. So from the look of our answers, we are not going to complete everything, as you can see. So for us to remain with c, we take the square root of both sides. So c will be, that is the hypotenuse, will be represented by the square root of 2.7 squared plus 3.6 squared. And that is, from our answers, we have 3.6 squared plus 2.7 squared, and then square root. We also have, look at these answers keenly. Now, one thing I've noticed with these multiple choices, they are also testing the keenness to see, because if you look at these answers without keenness, you can just think they are all the same, but you can notice a difference. Look at this. This is 3.6 plus 2.7, then we square, which is not the same as this. In this case, you're supposed to add 3.6 to 2.7, then what you get, you square. You think that? Look at this one. What's the issue with this? Subtraction. It is subtraction. Look at this one. No squared, no squared. So definitely our answer is A. So that is it about that question. And allow me to end the lesson at that point. Till next time, continue watching my videos, subscribing, and you can also comment down there what you have, the issue you have. If there is any question, rather a strand which is disturbing you, you can comment down there and let me know, then I shall handle it. So thank you so much for watching this video. Till next time, bye bye.